These stars are always hanging around but never actually accomplishing anything memorable. Maybe their careers will turn around eventually, but for now, someone needs to tell them they aren't famous anymore. One person who should be more famous than she is infamous is Stacey Dash. She's jaw-droppingly gorgeous, was great as Diane in the 1995 classic Clueless, and she hasn't aged at all since then. Unfortunately, her recent resume is peppered mainly with occasional bit parts on TV and direct-to-video films. She became a conservative commentator, but she even lost that gig. In January 2017, Fox News announced that her 3-year stint on the network had concluded following controversial comments about race. Dash launched a short-lived bid for a California congressional seat in 2018, but she waved the white flag after just 1 month. Her latest career efforts seem to blend her past and present. Of the 4 film projects she has in the works, 2 deal directly with conservative issues, including the controversial anti-abortion flick Roe v. Wade. Besides the Transformers and Fast and the Furious franchises, Tyrese Gibson doesn't have much going on in terms of acting. He took that frustration out on his Fast co-star Dwayne Johnson via a series of social media rants in 2017, in which he begged Johnson to return his calls and berated him for having the audacity to make a Fast and Furious spin-off. Gibson has also had troubles outside of his film career. Throughout 2017, he and his ex-wife engaged in a contentious child custody dispute, and in 2018, American Express had allegedly sued him for an outstanding balance of more than $60,000. When your headlines are more about your unpaid bills than your big-time paydays, that's the wrong kind of fame. He was a superstar when he was Lil Bow Wow, but now that he's not so Lil, Bow Wow has made some big public gaffes. There was the time he tweeted, then deleted an edited photo of the original Death Row Records lineup with his childhood face squeezed in between Tupac and Suge Knight. And then there was the photo he tweeted of a supposed private jet he was boarding that was actually a promotional photo from a Fort Lauderdale airport. Bow Wow's also been experiencing a career lull in both the recording studio and on screen. His last notable gig was a 2-year stint on BET's 106 & Park before the series was cancelled. He released a track list in 2018 for an upcoming album that consisted of disturbing insults apparently aimed at ex-girlfriends. That's not exactly the headspace you need to be in if you still want to be famous. It seems like Frankie Grande keeps trying to piggyback off his sister Ariana's fame. The problem is, where Ariana is a talented vocalist, seasoned Broadway performer, and former Nickelodeon star, Frankie doesn't seem to do much. Sure, he's super into makeup, glitter, and fashion, but so are toddlers who wander into their mother's bathrooms. But that hasn't stopped Frankie from showing up at awards shows, making appearances on every possible TV show that will book him, and becoming one of the most reviled cast members on Big Brother. However, none of that has generated enough juice for him to make headlines on his own. In fact, nearly every tabloid story he's mentioned in is directly related to his megastar sister. It's about time he accepted that she got all the star power in their gene pool. Dip It Low was a big hit for Christina Milian back in 2004. Since then, she's appeared as a correspondent on The Voice, and she had a reality show called Christina Milian Turned Up that was cancelled in 2016 after 2 seasons. But she hasn't had a hit song of her own in ages, despite being talented and stunningly beautiful. Perhaps the most alarming sign for her career is that she's set to star in a Hallmark Christmas movie. When OK Magazine caught up with Milian in May 2018, they asked if she planned to reboot her music career, and her answer was interesting, to say the least.
So I've currently got some music that's already recorded. It's just in the process of the paperwork that has to be done to release it.
That vagueness isn't exactly inspiring when it comes to future career prospects. By appearing on countless episodes of Keeping Up with the Kardashians and other reality shows, Jonathan Cheban has been riding the Kardashian wave ever since it started. He tried to parlay that fame into his own series, The Spin Crowd, but that was cancelled after 1 season. After that, he attempted to climb one of the lowest rungs of the reality TV ladder by appearing on Celebrity Big Brother, but he was eventually axed from the show due to his outlandish demands. Cheban has since become something of a glorified food blogger. He even declared in November 2017 that he was legally changing his name to Food God, which is the Instagram handle he uses to share his culinary adventures. His greatest gastronomic achievement, as far as we can tell, was introducing the world to gold chicken wings, which are chicken wings actually dipped in real 24-karat gold dust. But chowing down on appetizers that cost a month's rent probably isn't the best way to endear yourself to a fan base.